live on the air. I'm Richard Saile.
This is wild.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of Lounge Time. I'm your host, Rich Saile, and on today's episode of 2026 Offseason Grades, we go over the Houston Texans, our second team in the AFC South, a division we have not covered a lot since the Titans episode back early in the series, but we are starting with the Texans to continue the AFC South grades as well. And let's go over what did the Houston Texans do, because they had some guys, more so role players that they lost than big names, but they managed to take care of some weaknesses within this offseason that they covered. So let's start with the roster moves and free agency first. They cut Jimmy Ward, cut Joe Mixon, Mario Edwards. They did get Evan Brown at guard, Foster Moreau at tight end, that's a depth piece. Wyatt Teller at right guard is one of the quiet moves I don't think we've talked about, because he actually is a solid guard that will fix some of the problems they have had at right guard in the past. Braden Smith, the right tackle from the Colts, that's huge because they needed tackle bad. C.J.Stroud was getting under duress so many times, even since his rookie season, where they haven't had that other tackle covered before they got rid of Laramie Tunsil to the Commanders. So they have been struggling for an offensive tackle issue. They got that solved on the right side with Braden Smith and Wyatt Teller at right guard. So the right side they patched that up for now. Then let's go to their draft, because I will tell you guys this. I looked at this draft class. This is a very good draft class, considering where they were picking. First round pick, they went with guard Keelan Rutledge from Georgia Tech. That's going to be a really good pickup because their offensive line has been bad, especially against a really good defensive front. Baltimore, Kansas City, New England, they needed to beef up that line. I like the Keelan Rutledge pick a lot for them. Caden McDonald from Ohio State. And they got him early in round 2. Like, the rich get richer on defense. This was already a really good defense that the idiots at ESPN had the audacity to compare to the 85 Bears and 2000 Ravens, which, that's a stretch if we're being honest, okay? Now they got Caden McDonald up front. Oof. This is going to be an argument for the best defense in the league, I'll tell you that much, okay? Now, their late round picks, Kamari Ramsey, the safety from USC, this guy flies to the ball. Okay, Lewis Bond, the receiver from Boston College, really good depth piece there. Aiden Fisher, the linebacker from Indiana, he was good for the Hoosiers defense last season. And again, I think it's a solid move that they were able to do. So I like what they were able to put together in the draft. And that was a good solid move for them as well. So I really like that. I also didn't go over that they traded for David Montgomery from the Detroit Lions for day 3 draft picks, which you could say is a good running back move because he's more of a power back. Joe Mixon was more of like the pass catcher that could be shifty, that could bounce runs to the outside. Montgomery's more of a power back. Now, if I'm being like little critical now with this roster, just judging from the moves, I don't know if this team has that crazy running back that can have that explosiveness on offense. Like Woody Marks, I had him in fantasy last year. He was good, but he didn't have games where he could consistently be a number one running back option. And that's where I feel like, if I'm nitpicking a little bit, they needed to get that little speed, shifty running back that they should have got in the draft, and you could have got it later where it fit the scheme. Because Montgomery's more of a power back. Marks is solid. I just feel like they were missing that one guy that could be that shifty, elusive running back that they haven't had. Okay? And I feel like that's nitpicking their offense. Okay? Now, their receiver group. This is a good receiver group. They drafted 2 young guys last year, Jalen Noel, Jaden Higgins, so they're going into year 2. Nico Collins is their number 1, and he's earned that the last 3 years. Tank Dell is coming back from a serious knee injury that he suffered 2 years ago against the Chiefs late in December. I'm glad he's back because he is awesome. And Lewis Bond, Xavier Hutchinson, those guys are solid. Like, to me, this receiver depth is pretty solid when you look at what they have around Stroud. Even Schultz and Moreau, like, they're solid tight ends. Like, I look at this and go, this is a good skill group of guys. Now, I don't think they've solved the left tackle spot yet. I don't know if Blake Fisher can be that answer at left tackle. Even Ursery at left tackle, I don't know if he's that guy that can fix some needs. But you look, and again, ESPN, I don't know why they have Keelan Rutledge playing center and Teller playing left guard, and I don't understand that. I feel like that's got to be a mistake. But Trent Brown's a backup right tackle. I thought they would maybe move him to left until they have an option, which I guess they don't feel that Trent Brown's ready to be a left tackle because of his play. I don't know that definitively, but a little surprised at how this line looks according to ESPN starting depth chart for them. But I'm going to say this. I got to talk about this because it's on their offense. And C.J.Stroud, as bad as he played in the playoffs, this is a big year for him. Because his rookie year, he looked really promising. And slowly but surely, he's gone down. And I'm trying to say to myself, why has he gone down this bad in 3 years? Now, Bobby Slowick was gone last year, okay? They got a new offensive coordinator in there. And they did struggle early, and then things popped when their defense was playing lights out and their offense was making a couple big plays a game. And I look at this offense and I say, how are they just making get by plays when they can't be consistently better with this skill group? And I look, it's got to be the offensive line. And I look at this line now and I'm saying, this is a better offensive line. So to me, C.J.Stroud, he's got a big year up ahead of him. Because they've lost in the divisional playoffs 3 straight years. Granted, 2 of those have been the number 1 seeds. The other one was a 2 seed, but you're playing their best ball at the right time. And C.J. Stroud, you've got to prove you can beat the elite defenses, or otherwise you might not get a 5th-year option, which, in my opinion, let's be honest. If I were to tell you that you got a playoff win in each of your first 3 years, I would say, to me, that's 5th-year option worthy. Now, mega contract, I need to see more. Well, this is where this is the year I want to see. Can C.J. Stroud elevate his game to get the Texans to the AFC Championship? Their defense is Super Bowl caliber good. We don't have to spend much time. It's him in the playoffs that is the biggest question that, especially after last year, is he the guy that's holding this team back? And he's got to make that leap. You were the 2nd pick in your draft. 2nd overall pick in the draft behind Bryce Young. And you got more playoff wins than Bryce Young. And you got to learn how to beat the elite teams somehow sooner than later. You're in year 4 now. Because otherwise, we'll be like, yeah, well, he's good, but he's not elite. And I think the way he carries himself is really good. But he's got to learn to beat these big teams, the elite defenses. This is where you prove you're franchise quarterback worthy. He hasn't done that. And he's got to make that leap in his game, and he's capable of it. But I don't understand what's going on with him that has made him regress so bad over the last 2 seasons. Let's go to their defense, which I'm not spending a lot of time on. This unit has the chance to be the best defense once again in this league. Will Anderson, Daniil Hunter at the edge. Tommy Togai, Sheldon Rankins, Logan Hall, Caden McDonald. Lord have mercy. And I didn't even mention this. They just signed him a couple days ago. They got Jadeveon Clowney as a rotating pass rusher. Holy, man. This team's going to be scary again. Like, this team, this is going to be a problem. They're going to be a problem. And D'Amico knows what he needs for this defense to be really good. He's got depth at defensive line everywhere you look. Edge, defensive tackle. Okay, let's go to the linebackers. Azeez Al-Shaair, Henry Toto, very good linebackers. Very good. Marte Mapu's a backup from New England. Nick Caserio knows. Aiden Fisher's a third-string middle linebacker. Okay, EJ Speed, solid from the Colts. Like, this is a good linebacker core. It's not great, but it's a good linebacker core. Okay, now their secondary is not as deep. They're not like, okay, they're very good. Derek Stingley, top 3 corner in the league. Pat Surtain, Christian Gonzalez, and him. Whatever order you would choose to pick, that's up to you. Okay, Reed Blankenship, Caden Bullock, Jalen Petrie, Kamari Lassiter. This is a good, very good secondary. Very good. I mean, this is a team that they're going to be tough to score on. And again, like, I'm worried, me personally, how are you going to block 2 speed guys that you're going to have to double team somebody, but you can't double them because you've got one that is also just as good. 2 guys that are very good disrupting the pocket. McDonald's a run stuffer and can also collapse the pocket. Clowney's a rotational piece. You got 2 linebackers that are really good that fly the ball, elite in coverage and tackling. Okay, a lockdown corner in Derek Stingley Jr. on one side, and then these other safeties and nickel corners and Kamari Lassiter, they are just aggressive when the ball's in the air. These guys are aggressive. They fly to the ball. They tackle well. This is going to be a tough defense to score on. Like, I'm not joking. I feel like the average for them is going to be like 14 points a game. Maybe lower. And I'm just like being an estimate. This is going to be very tough to score on. I'm wondering, like, how many teams are going to get over 14 on this team? And I'm thinking right now, not many, and I'm going by just a rough estimate. Now, I know a couple teams they play, so we'll see. But this defense, once again, they're going to be at least in the top 3 in a lot of major categories. They're going to be really good. The real question will be, does C.J.Stroud hold them back from being a team that is good enough to get to the AFC Championship game or represent them in the Super Bowl? And he's got to make a leap in this game. But this defense, elite once again. Their offense has good skill guys. Their line is patched up a little bit. I don't think they covered up all the weaknesses. Their running back hole, that's something they may look at the trade deadline, depending on if Breece Hall's available. Although that would be a nightmare scenario for the league, because if they got Breece Hall, they're going to be at the AFC top if that happens. Let's go to their schedule. I know I'm flying by this, and I feel like this is going to be a little shorter, but let's see what the Texans' schedule looks like. And there's some teams here. They open up with the Bills at home. I think they beat the Bills. Versus the Bengals, I think they get to Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow will struggle with this defense. I'm going to say 2-0. Off the rip, they beat 2 really good teams. At the Colts. Now, Daniel Jones is back. The Colts, I think they're going to sneak one on them. I'm going to say they lose to the Colts in Indianapolis. That's going to be a game I think they're going to sneak. The Colts are going to upset them. 2-1. Cowboys, 3-1. Home for the Cowboys. At Titans, 4-1. Jaguars, which I think is overseas. Yeah, it is overseas. That's a win. The Giants, that's a win. This team, I have 6-1 rolling into the bye week. At the Chargers. They won in LA last year. Then again, Mike McDaniel has a really good offense. I think they lose at the Chargers. I think that could be either way. I'm going to say 6-2. At the Browns, 7-2. Home for the Colts, I'm going to go 8-2. Home for the Ravens, I'm going to say that's a loss. I'm going to go 8-3. At Steelers, that's a win. At Washington, that's a win. Home for the Jaguars, that's where I think they might lose. They will. I think they're going to split with the Jags because the Jags will get one on them. I'm going to say they lose that one. So we're sitting at right now, I want to say 10-4 because I have Colts being a loss, at Chargers, Baltimore at home, Jacksonville, at Philly will be another loss, I believe, too. That's going to be 10-5. At Green Bay, they beat Green Bay. I don't think Green Bay is all that, though. I know. And then the Titans. I think this team definitely wins the AFC South, in my opinion. I can confidently believe that. They are playoff good. They can win the South. To me, there are a couple games later in the year. 4 of their last 6 are on the road. And those are cold weather places. Pittsburgh, Washington, Philly, Green Bay. You're going to have to learn to play good in cold weather because that's going to be their thing if they ever have to go on the road in the playoffs, which could very well happen again. But they will be in the conversation, I believe, for the number 1 seed in the AFC because of how good that defense will be. And that offense just needs to be better than what it's been the last 3 years, which has capability to, if they can open it up a little bit. A little bit. But there are holes on that offense that worry me a little bit, like offensive line, running back, and Stroud elevating against really good defenses. Which leads me to my offseason grade. I'm at a B-. I went with a B-. I think that it was a good offseason for them. That they did address the line. There's still some holes, but they addressed it. Montgomery's a nice replacement for Joe Mixon. It's not a downgrade, but they fit what D'Amico wants to do. Caden McDonald adds great depth to this defensive line, okay? But I don't think they are crazy different from what they've been. But they didn't have to change anything, which is great. But it was a good offseason for them that they got depth at some key spots, but nothing that made me go, they're that much better than everybody. So I landed at a B-, and I think that's fair. So I got them 12-5 right now, and again, I could change going into the preseason show, which leads me perfectly into my transition. Thank you so much for watching Lounge Time 2026 Offseason Grades episode. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, so that way you guys can get all the latest content for the Offseason Grades series. We have a couple more teams left to go. We're down to 12 more videos to make, so we're going to have all the Offseason Grade episodes done till the late end of August, which will lead into the preseason show where I will give my playoff teams, my Super Bowl 61 matchup and winner. You do not want to miss out on that. You can also follow me at LoungeTimePod on X. Yes, I tweeted a little bit today and recently about J.J. Watt being the number 1 analyst for CBS while Tony Romo is on temporary leave and some other stuff. But I will be active during Patriots preseason games where I will be watching to see what I like. But if you have a question for the show, tweet at me and I will answer it on the show. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Lounge Time. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys on the next episode of 2026 Offseason Grades.